What's up, y'all? It's your boy Eric Flo, live from downtown Brooklyn. I'm about to get busy and get to my Uber Eats grind. But I wanted to chop it up with y'all. I felt like I had to, I want to get on here and vent more, be vulnerable more, and show people that masculinity is not what people make it out to be. That we define ourselves, bro. Don't nobody define you. Can't nobody just put you in a box of like, you got to be a provider, protector, and all of this other definitions that come with being a man. No, you are a human being. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of a woman? When somebody asks you, what is a trait of a woman the first trait of a woman that comes to mind as a man going into dealing with a woman, something that you have to be aware of? Women are emotional, right? I may not have asked the question in the best way, but you get what I'm trying to say. But now when somebody asks you about manhood, a female or another man, it's about we got to provide, we got to protect, we got to, you know what I'm saying? Just all about giving and doing and pretty much allowing people, just adding to people. We are meant to add unto somebody, right? But then when it comes to dealing with a woman, we have to accept that she may not be able to add on to us because she is emotional. So then now it puts us in a state where, for example, a man is afraid to be open and honest about mistakes that he's made in his life, not being in a position to be a provider because he's not able to, properly provide for himself, right? Somebody like me in my lowest state, why would I be on YouTube if I could look in the mirror and say that from a 3D aspect on how people look at manhood, that I'm not really a man because I'm in a homeless shelter? So I'm meaning that I'm not a provider because I can't provide for myself, and I'm not a protector because I've made so many different mistakes in my life that I should have been more conscious enough and should have made better decisions to protect myself from having to reap the consequences and benefits that come with the decisions that I've made. So how can I in turn then be a man for myself or anybody or a woman, right? And then that then subtracts the majority of men to then feel like they are not men, which then in turn makes men on a day-to-day basis just feel lost, confused, and angry, right? Because imagine, the instant gratification that comes with playing video games, and if you don't like something, you can just quit and do it again. But in manhood, when you are confused and lost and you don't really know how to pick up the pieces and go in the right direction, like video games come with a collective of missions that take you in a certain point that gets you to the end point, that gets you to the last mission that you can complete. Every game comes with blueprints that you can follow, but in life, if you take the wrong advice from the wrong kind of man, you end up completing the wrong missions. Like young dudes that's out here in the streets completing the wrong missions, like people that follow the wrong influences on YouTube that are not really taking accountability but just want to get on here and be viewed as an influencer. That's why I like being raw, because I don't want you to view me as an influencer. I want you to view me as a human being that is just getting on here to support you and to vent and to heal himself. Because I'm learning so much things within my own space that I know that you can take from the things that I'm learning, the downloads that I'm getting, that I can share with you, that you can then take and process on your own for your own life. I don't want to come on here like I'm some sort of god or anything like that. I'm just a young king out here that just want to be greater, and I'm so passionate, and I put in so much work and mental, like just always focusing on just, ascending to the point where I know that I'm tapped in with more things. I separated myself from certain circumstances and situations that a lot of young dudes are still trapped in. Like, I felt like I was able to ascend when I left my mom's crib. Even though I left my mom's crib to be homeless, I still left, and I found some sort of something within my spirit and psychologically that I never had in my life before that made me appreciate just not being there no more, because I was able to, align with something. You know what I'm saying? Like it goes deep, right? So now, because of what I aligned with, in turn, I was able to align with certain downloads that I was able to attain that just make me want to feel like it's only right that I share this with people. So that's all I really, just end up doing, is just wanting to share downloads that I have. Like today, I was just thinking about how manhood is just hard, bro. It's hard. It's hard that every day as a man, you feel like you have to always presume and project that you are always in mode to be able to provide and protect at any point in time. You know what I'm saying? And in the comments, if you have anything more to add to this about how masculinity is hard for you, then I want you to add your opinion. I read all my comments. And I maybe can make another video and we can talk more about this, because this is not just a one conversation thing. We are going to continuously going to talk about how masculinity and being a man is hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it make people feel like, you know, why be real? I might as well just keep these things to myself and provide an image for a woman to be able to feed off of, because I have to be a certain man for a woman. I have to be a man out here to a certain extent in general, because if anybody senses any vulnerabilities within me, any lack within me of anything, then I'm just not a man. I have to always have this poker face. I have to always look like I'm ready for war. I have to always look like I'm fine and I'm good, and I'm not ever in no state not certain about things, or feeling maybe emotional about things, or feeling like I need to express myself, because, you know, as a man, we are meant to provide. We are not meant to receive. It's almost like that's what they trap us in. We can't receive. You know, it's almost like you feel like you're afraid to be open with friends and women, because now when you're telling people about traumas that you've been through and mistakes, that traumas that make you look like a victim, and mistakes that you may have made that make you look like you uncertain about yourself and life and things of that nature, you're afraid that people just gonna look at you like what kind of man is this, and how do you even believe that you can become a man? You feel like people would just automatically judge you, right? So that in turn makes men just want to hide, because at least they don't have to deal with people making their life harder than what it already is. See, I'm not trying to make it seem like, you know, I'm coming at women or anything like that. But see, a woman can be emotional about things and be uncertain about things, right? But when a man is in that state, you know, it's different. Because first of all, most men aren't moving like that. So now me, for example, I'm one of the few men that I feel like out here is willing to move in an open state where you can just like really feel me as a human being, and most men are putting on an image. Now I may have thoughts of like, why am I even doing this? Because people are going to easily misunderstand what I'm doing, because most men aren't doing what I'm doing. So they're not going to really see it for what it is, because they're so used to men putting on a certain persona that now when I'm me as a man trying to open up and be myself more so I can align with divine masculinity and not alpha male, you know what I'm saying? Like, now you feel like you can't even do that. You know, being a man is tough, because we work so hard to want to be strong. We don't want to be weak, because we want to provide and protect. Provide, you have to be strong mentally, meaning that your body can resemble your mental strength, and your strength can resemble the protection that you can provide to anybody that you love. But if you lack any sort of mental stability, when you then in turn lose that control, you become a liability for yourself, because then you can wake up 2 weeks later in a cell, you on trial for murder, for attempt murder, for assault, for battery, for anything, because you lost control, because you don't prioritize yourself, because they make us feel like as men that if we don't always thinking about getting money and focused on getting money, that you're not a man. So where I'm not a man if I don't take time to make sure that my spirit is right, if I don't take time for myself to not be trying to provide and protect anybody, but just do for me. Feels good. More men need to prioritize that, because it is dangerous being a man. See, a woman could get mad and just, right? And even if she could hit hard and not hit like she a little feminine woman doing like this, you know what I'm saying? She'll still get the benefit of the doubt. But as a man, we only got one move, right? We hold and build up so much stuff out of fear of not looking like a man, or making people, we don't want people to not be proud of us. We want people to be proud of us. That is the validation that men get. We just want to do the right thing and be the best man that we can be. So at least in turn, what we receive from people is proud. Like, wow, I'm proud of you because you accomplished that goal. It's almost like, what else can you think of as a man that we look to like receive other than just people that we care about, you know, being proud of us? So, you know, if we end up losing control at any point, now we gotta, you know, go sit down or go, you know, have to take on everything that comes with that mistake, and then have to sit with all of the other stuff that we was trying to hide from, and then it all comes and hits you like a huge thing, a bucket of water, like, you know what I'm saying? Because men, we never take no real time to just like sit down and just process things. You know, it's a huge responsibility being a man, being a young man too. There's young men out here that's teenagers, a little bit younger than teenagers. Now, when they make certain mistakes out here, when you go to jail, they're going to charge you as an adult. An adult with other grown men that have been in jail for 20 years, and he in his 40s. And he probably never going to see daylight again. And he see a little vulnerable little boy coming to jail. And his mind is all screwed up because of just being in there trapped like an animal around, having to live animalistically, eating crap. People on the outside treat you like you don't exist, so you feel like the only thing that does exist is the life that you exist in inside of confinement, right? Which is already what manhood is, which is why the majority of jails are taken up by men, because we already live in confinement, whether we are free. Most men are not free, even if they don't live in a confinement. We are confined still. Manhood makes you feel confined. That's why men walk around with tension, because we are trapped. And we are tensed up because we are trapped. We feel like we can't move. We are out of alignment because we are always battling ourselves to be somebody that we are not, to appeal to people because of the responsibility that comes with being a man, right? But yet, you feel like nobody cares about what you've been through, about how you wasn't really raised and taught the right way, how to make the right decisions. But now that you become a certain age and it's time for you to make these certain decisions and you can't make them, you're not a man. Or you mess up, you're not a man because you should have known better, because you're a man. It goes deep. You ever felt like you was telling somebody about your traumas and why you are the way you are as a man, but then people just feel like you just making excuses for the bad decisions that you made because you want people to feel bad for you? But yet, if a woman turned around and did the same thing, you're supposed to give her a shoulder to cry on. But as a man, people just look at you like there's other men out here that, you know, like it's tricky, bro. Like it's even hard talking about a lot of these things, you know? And that's why I want to talk about masculinity from this perspective and this aspect more, because I feel like, you know, I just want to be here for men. You know, I just want to be somebody that, you know, you could come to on this YouTube and you know that it's going to be real with you. They really try to connect and provide you something that you can take with you, you know, take with you after this video. You know, it's tough, right? It's tough because, you know, even as a man, right, I'm on YouTube and I don't really get paid on YouTube. But because I'm not really getting paid on YouTube, I don't really look like a man because I'm still providing on YouTube, but I'm not receiving money for it, right? They also make us feel like we can't do unless we are doing to receive some sort of money and abundance, you know, an abundance of money that can then make us a better provider for then somebody. It's only, you know, it's like manhood in this world is made seem to be that we are only meant to provide for ourselves for a certain period of time so that people like women or friends or whatever can see that we have been able to provide for ourselves and build that kind of resume for a long enough period of time to where we are proven to be men, so that women could then want to, you know, women can then accept us as that, or other people can then accept us as that, right? But then when we speak about things like how it may be necessary for you to prioritize being a lone wolf for a while, to not really hang out with friends, to not really hang out with your girl, to not really hang around your family, but to be within yourself. And anybody that makes you feel guilty for doing that is somebody that looks at you as some sort of source of something that you should be doing for them. And because you're not doing for them and you're doing for yourself, it's a problem for them, which means that these are people that you need to stay away from. Like, I've had friends, you know, shout out to my friend John. I loved him very much, you know. That was one of my best friends that I had when I lived in New Jersey for a while. And I used to hate how people would take advantage of my friend because of how nice he was. And if somebody called him and said, yo, pull up, and he wouldn't pull up, people would be mad because a lot of people used my friend John for money and for weed. You know, because if you needed something, John would provide that for you, because he just couldn't say no. And I felt that within his spirit. You know what I'm saying? And if he just wanted to chill for a week straight and just be by himself and play the video game, one of his friends would, outside of me, would call him and just make him feel guilty for not wanting to come hang out. You know, it's tricky. It's tricky being a man. And we just need to, you know, take more time for ourselves to process things, because it's a lot of responsibility that comes with living in this world as a man. And I just wanted to put, you know, some of these things into perspectives into this video, and to show you as I go along my path that it's okay for you to express yourself. It's okay for you to not be perfect, because I mean, look at this world, right? I mean, we accept that the government is not perfect, right? But yet people still depend on the government, complain about the government, but know that they can't do nothing about it. But yet it feels like we as men almost have more of a responsibility over just everything as in general, even than the government. You know, because at least people accept that the government is not perfect. All right, think about that. I'm glad the universe is helping me, because I just needed that siren to go off so I could remember something. I had this dream earlier today when I woke up, right? It was about, I was hanging out with some dudes from my block that recently got indicted. My hood recently got indicted, meaning that the hood came and did a sweep, right? And swept out most of the gang members from my hood. D-Thang is a rapper from and affiliated with my hood. Very famous right now if you look him up. His name is D-Thang. Sounds exactly what it sounds like. Type it right up, you'll find him. I was in a dream with him. I don't know why, but I have a few dreams where I'm with like celebrities. Like, had a couple dreams I was chilling with Pop Smoke, but that's another topic, right? And I was with him, and we was with, you know, the gang. Long story short, I was on a block with like 30 people, including him. Cops came through. Cop cars surrounded us. One big old cop van opened up, looked like it could fit like 50 people. Opened up, and they came through, and they was ready to circle us so nobody could run. And I turned around and I ran. Police chased me, caught me, and I told the police, these is my mans. I don't bang with them, but these are my homies though. But I'm not affiliated with the gang, right? Because one, I should have the right to say that, because you as your own man, why as a man would I maybe be sought out to be a snitch if I just say something like that? Like, yes, these are my friends, but I'm not affiliated. Because whatever you about to charge them with, I don't have nothing to do with. I should at least have the right to be charged for something that I actually did. But even friend groups that you all would be with, you could be around the wrong crowd, and now you have to pay for what they did. You are guilty by association in this world. That's why you must protect your energy as a man. Because even if you are putting all this work to be the right kind of man, if I was to be sitting right here next to like 3, 4, 5 different dudes that wasn't aligned with my path, I just wouldn't look right. And I would be guilty by association. Because whatever principles I have don't matter. Because I'm around people that don't have the same principles as me. So now it may come off like my principles, like I don't really stand on nothing. Because how could you be around people that don't share the same principles as you? Like women that don't presume themselves to be, you know, fast women, but yet you hanging around fast women because that's your homegirl or whatever, but yet you don't realize or understand that you as a woman must also take responsibility for that. You are guilty by association. If a man understands that your friend is move a certain way and he see you with that friend and he treats you a certain way, you know, that's your fault too. That's not just your friend's fault. That's your fault, because you need to privatize and put your principles over everything and protect your energy around from people. And as a man, it's scary sometimes, even being a black man, that I could be around the wrong crowd and blend in to the point where whatever spirituality and downloads and frequency I'm on could be dumbed down from the collective, right? I could live in the hood, but I could be a smart man and a spiritual man and an enlightened man with a powerful frequency, but my collective energy around me can dumb that down, which means that I would have to then put in more work to go to raise all of these things even higher, which means I then also have to separate myself, stay out of that community as much as I possibly can, stay away from people like that as much as I can, because you are guilty by association as a man. You know, I just want to put some things into perspective, right? I got a lot more that I could probably talk about, but I don't want to say too much right now. I want y'all to digest this for a little minute, take this in. You got anything you want to add to this, please let me know, and let's talk more about this, man. I love you, and I want you to prioritize your healing and understand that it is a responsibility to wake up in the morning in the flesh of and look in your underwears and see that you have a peace because you are a man, and understand that and sit with that and prioritize you. Put you first. Because if you don't put you first and you get lost out here, you start making the wrong decisions and people just gonna be blaming you, but yet you gonna be blaming you too because you never prioritized you. So it's so much responsibility, bro, so much. And I just want to put these things into perspective for you so that, you know, you can be a better man as I'm, you know, working hard towards becoming a better man myself. Let's keep flowing and growing. Salute, peace and love.